Before you even open your eyes in the morning, politics has already made decisions for you. Sustainable energy allows the light to turn on. Water management provides clean water. Agricultural policies determine whether there's food on your table. And infrastructure planning decides whether you can travel safely to school. None of these feel political, but all of them are. Politics decides how these policies are designed, funded, and implemented so that your daily life can run smoothly. Yet, when people hear the word politics, they think of elections, corruptions, and something that makes people say, I'm not into politics. But here's the truth: politics is already into you, around you, and within you. To understand why this matters, let us go back more than 2,000 years ago when Aristotle used the phrase "zoon politikon," meaning humans are political animals. This does not imply that humans are animal in a literal sense. However, humans, by nature, live together in groups, forming societies in what he called a polis, or simply a city. Humans are social creatures, and because of that, humans can only achieve their highest moral potential when they learn to coexist within these polis. Because of this, the moment humans lived together, politics was born. Why? Because when people share space, they must decide who gets what, when, and how. In any society, there's only a small concentration of people who hold the power to decide what is good for the majority. That is why it should be a concern whether those in power truly care about the common interest. What taints the essence of politics, after all, is personal interest, the desire of individuals to gain benefits for themselves. So, politics is not just something that happens during election. It is a way of life. And more importantly, it works in cycle. To show you what I mean, let us visualize this through the national scale disaster in Sumatra, Indonesia that happened just recently. First, the election. Campaign season arrives with posters, slogans, and promises everywhere. The majority of people vote based on popularity, identity, or emotion. Very few actually read what the candidates are offering. Environmental plans feel boring and easy to ignore, so people vote without thinking deeply about the long-term consequences, choosing instead what simply just felt right. However, during these campaign periods, there are warning signs if we look closely. Popular candidates disregard environmental regulation and remain silent about sustainability. These ideas are hidden behind buzzwords such as development and economic growth. The information exists, but ignorance keeps it hidden. After all these politicians are elected, the policies they promise are implemented. Sometimes economic growth becomes visible and people rejoice. However, consequences behind these developments remain hidden. Deforestation, pollution, environmental destruction are not discussed as politicians deem these issues quite irrelevant. Then, disaster strikes. On the 25th of November, floods submerged parts of Sumatra. We call these events natural disaster. But if they are truly natural, why do they keep happening in the same place and at the same time every year? Nature may trigger the disaster, but politics decide how severe these disasters become. Ordinary people suffer, families lose their home, children miss school, and the local economy comes to a halt. People who make the decisions are far, far away, while the people who face the consequences live right there. And this should not be taken lightly, because it is only a matter of time before it happens to you too. Elected officials then say this was unavoidable, or simply that this is nature. There are no policy changes, no accountability, and just like that, the cycle resets and repeats Another election arrives, another campaign follows. We forget the policy, forget the disaster, and then we vote the same way again and again. This cycle then affects democracy itself. In Indonesia, we see attempts to weaken voting rights, limit public participation, and reduce accountability. These efforts happen quietly, hidden behind legal languages that most people do not read as they do not understand. As people stop paying attention, power moves more freely, giving those in control a greater opportunity. Now, let us zoom out and look at the same cycle on a global scale. During the US election, Donald Trump openly campaigned on imposing tariffs. Economists warned that these policies would hurt trade, raise prices, and damage the global economy. However, those warnings were ignored, as campaign promises were listened to more than experts. After the election, the policy was implemented. Trade wars began, prices rose, and the supply chain were disrupted. The impact was not limited to the United States. A vote in one country raised prices in many, many others. Once again, experts warned, people ignored, consequences followed, and the cycle continues. This proves that this issue is not local or regional. It happens everywhere. Yet, people still often say, I'm not into politics. But that sentence itself is political. Every decision about your education, your safety, your job opportunities, and your future are shaped by political choices, whether you care about them or not, whether you like them or not. You do not have to vote to be affected by politics. You just have to exist, simply. So, what do we do? This is not about telling you who to vote for, especially since most have not yet reached the legal voting age. It is about breaking that cycle. That starts with educating yourself, asking questions, reading beyond slogans, and speaking out to advocate on these issues. Democracy does not fail overnight, after all. It fails slowly through ignorance, and building a habit of political literacy is how we can prevent that. So, let me take you back to the beginning. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm rings, remember this. Politics does not start at the ballot box. It starts the moment you wake up, and the outcome can simply change by paying attention. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get political. Thank you.